So go ahead.
Well, I was thinking that most of our RPs happen in the workshop, so I was thinking about switching it up a little bit.
All right. Then it could be general sleeping quarters. It could be common room. Probably not, though, because...
Yeah, I don't see, like, this is gonna be a private
private
conversation.
conversation. The content of the...
Yeah, I guess the primary quarters will be
Gone
okay.
room.
It'll be
Yes.
gone.
Okay. Now, is this something where he was looking for Hana? He waited until kind of Hana started heading out of the workshop? What?
Or I think maybe it was like a... Like, oh, did I just die?
No, you're here.
Am I back? Cool, because everything froze. Cool.
Oh, you're fine. You never died at all, actually.
Okay, cool. Maybe Fynn was relaxing, because, probably someone forced him to.
Mm-hmm.
And he just happened to see Hana, and he's like, wow, this is a good opportunity to do this right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that works. Then yeah, let's say Hana was just walking in or something. Or he came in a little bit ago and kind of like settled on the edge of his bed and was kind of like organizing things because the motherfucker probably has an organizer. So is jotting things down.
So, Fynn is laying down in bed. His eyes are closed. He knows Hannah's in the room because he heard him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to relax, but, Fynn can't sleep. He doesn't like sleep. So he will sit up with a sigh and just kind of rub his eye. Like, tired, but not tired.
He will say, well, still kind of looking down. He'll be like, I apologize if my entrance woke you.
No, it's fine. I wasn't really asleep.
An attempt, but little success as always.
Yeah. How have you been lately?
How have I been?
Yeah.
Ready to get a break.
That's an understatement.
This salvage trip. I mean, you've been there for many of the other ones. Yes, they take a bit, but it's usually not this life-threatening or grating. So, quite excited for that to be done. Quite excited for the money.
The money's gotta be really nice.
Any plans on what you are going to be spending it on?
I have a few ideas. I'm not gonna spend it all this time.
It seems you learned from your past mistake. Well done, Fynn.
Hey, Hana. About a couple days ago.
He kind of pauses in what he's doing. Continues listening.
I know you don't really like expressing your emotion. Or feelings, for that matter. But...
He holds up a finger. And kind of motions for Fynn to come over, and he kind of like pulls over like a nearby chair from a desk.
Fynn will get up and slowly walk over. This was not a part of the plan. And he will sit down.
And Anna scoots back on his bed because it's like a bunk, I imagine. And he grabs the edge of your chair and scooches you in so that you're kind of under the overhang. And he just looks at you and says, "Security cameras. Please mind your volume."
My bad. Forgot about those.
Continue.
As I was saying, I know you don't really like expressing your emotions, but you seemed really, really shaken, and if you need anyone to talk to about it, like at all.
I appreciate the notion, Fynn. But I believe what we experienced is best forgotten on all ends. I cannot attest to what you saw, but
It wasn't all that bad on my end, considering a lot of freaky shit. But no, sorry, he wouldn't have said that. Sorry, that's me saying that.
Freaky deaky.
Oops, he wouldn't curse. He wouldn't curse. Oof.
You're good,
A lot of
continue.
freaky stuff. Mostly my parts deciding to be taken by, disembodied hand, but other than that, nothing too bad.
This is by far the worst shock jump I've ever experienced. Usually there are hallucinations. I'm well aware of that. Footsteps and voices. Those are the most common ones I experience. But usually you're able to ignore them, take a moment, count to 3, and it'll be gone, and you'll be able to go back on your merry way. It's a good sign that you really should be getting to the cryopod soon, but as long as you're not looking out a window, you're fine.
I mean, you did, prior to the shock jump, you did go through a very traumatic experience.
He's got a small frown to his face. Yes, and I believe that is the variable I did not account for in this equation. Everything was the same as always, except that. Wounds were fresher than I anticipated, and they manifested, it seems. Like a very, very bad nightmare.
Yeah. It just worried me is all. I just wanted to make sure I know you're not like okay, but you know what I mean.
To make sure I'm not imploding. Perhaps.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm perfectly fine. I've done my breathing exercises and I'm keeping myself occupied until we reach the mouse station. Besides, I have plenty of projects I need to work on. This is a good motivator to do so.
Yeah, I could feel that one.
Would you like to make an empathy, Fynn?
What is that roll?
That I think
It's a clout interrogation or an attention interrogation.
You can use intention interrogation? That's good to know.
I don't have interrogation.
Then you.
It's just your straight, like...
Then it's.
Straight attention? Can I use straight attention?
Yep, but you don't double it.
My attention's pretty good. So I think I have like... I have 3 dice. It's decent.
But yeah, you're able to use attention as well if you're trying to get empathy.
I need to go buy interrogation, at least 1 point of it, I guess, now. Eventually. Once I have what I want. 3 die. Three. Eight. One success.
One success, okay. You can tell as he's answering your questions and all that. That he is acting a lot calmer than he is. Or a lot more stable, okay, if you will.
So he's putting on a mask, so to speak.
A little bit, yeah. And he's doing the robot thing again. So he's answering your, all your questions pretty curtly, pretty matter-of-factly, and, as he would at a job when he's working. But, like, you can tell there's more behind it. Because I think Fynn, having known Hana for so long, you've probably known when he gets upset, he either just lets it all out or just staunchly ignores it.
Okay. Just know that there's a lot of people on this ship who would listen to what. Yeah, I'm mixing up words.
I understand the notion in which you are attempting to convey. I'm aware of that, but I don't think it's anything that needs to be spoken about.
Fynn will nod. All right.
But I appreciate your check-in. Your concern is noted. But not necessary, I assure you. It will not happen again.
All right. Anyway, Finn will kind of lean back on the chair,
Mm-hmm.
more like of a show of a sign of like, yeah, I'm dropping this line of this line
Yeah.
of dialogue right
Fun
now.
dialogue. He says, "What were you doing awake anyway?"
You know me, lost track of time, and then I didn't have enough time to put everything away and get to the pod in time.
Ah, that sounds about right. Should set an alarm.
Really should.
Suppose it would also help if we returned the clock into the workshop.
Would really help, actually.
I just find it impedes progress.
How so?
It creates limits, walls. If I know that it is a time that is late, and I've been working since it was early, the natural conclusion is I should stop.
I mean, that's a pretty logical thought
Yes,
process.
logically, of course, but what if I'm really on a roll? What if I'm really making progress? I don't want some fickle seconds to be what tells me to cease. And then the thought that's in my head that I currently had is gone because now it's replaced with, oh, it's 10 p.m. Maybe I should lie down. I can pick it up rather easily again, but I don't appreciate having to do it at all. So I took the clock out.
I mean, we don't have to put the clock in. I could just get a desk clock.
Then I know it's there.
Yeah, but you don't have to look at it. Hell, I could even turn it off if I'm not in the workshop.
This would be acceptable. Yes,
so what are you working on?
Currently, I have several projects in the wings. A list going on here. Speaking of which, actually, I needed to speak to you.
About?
The Terran Grade Halberd. Is that staying within Ram's possession or transferring to yours? He mentioned something about you were interested.
From what it sounds like, it's gonna be trading hands frequently.
Trading hands. He rolls his eyes. Very well. I'll try to make the grip universal. I was keen on upgrading the ammo type. You see, official bolter ammo is not very common. I could make some. I think that's within my capabilities. But alternatively, what would be easier is if I was able to modify the gun within the weapon itself, the mechanisms, to shoot smaller bolter rounds, similar to that of the anti-personnel weapon we found the schematics for.
It does sound interesting.
Would it be amicable to you to do so? Not sure if you're counting this as an antique.
I mean, it is an antique, but I mean, if we're not gonna sell it, we might as well make it usable.
He nods. Precisely my thinking. In addition to that, I'm quite excited to get a look at how it works from the inside. There are many different options, buttons, things like that. How are they wired? How does it work? And they managed to install a weapon with the gun that's running throughout the pole arm that has to minimize everything quite a bit, and then how long is the barrel within? I'm very excited to learn, along with its accuracy.
Well, if you do learn about it, I'd love to see your notes.
Of course, they will be entered as always for reading. Aside from that, I have concussion gauntlets for Mendy. They were interested in. We've had talk of potentially trying to tie them together with a kinetic unit for additional concussion power. I'll need to be looking into how to do this, but I think it's quite a good idea. Otherwise, Chu expressed wanting his kinetic unit hacked. There's the suppression turrets I can study, so I understand how they work. I need to take one apart to do that, and then put the other together with it. The missile launchers as well. We have enough parts to be able to put one back together.
We don't have any of the ammunition.
We do.
Do
2
we?
rounds. Yes. We have 2
How are we gonna
AP rockets.
How are we going to convince? Out of character, I can't remember her name. Sorry, it's been a while.
Amanda?
Amanda, thank you. How are we gonna convince Amanda to keep that?
Well, that one's a bit out of her jurisdiction currently. It's a pile of junk.
I mean, the ammo, the rounds.
And put it in with the others. She's already selling most of the ship. Generally, when it comes to the weapon grade things, I'm able to claim to a good amount, and the others that are useful are kept as well. Ash makes sure of that. I'm assuming that's why we are keeping the grenades in case. Best be sure they're stored properly, though.
Yeah, I do not want those going off.
No, you would not. But yes, that is currently my itinerary. And it will continue to be so. Very exciting. Yourself?
I mean, other than keeping the Rossi kicking, do you have the suit mod I'm working on? But other than that, I don't really have anything else. I'm more of a fix it kind of person. I mean, if I did have Terran Tech, I could look into. I would, but
You're surrounded by it currently.
I am, but I don't know what I'm allowed to touch or not, so I don't ask.
Then do it. Just look. You still have Robbie. You could always poke around more with him. Or he'd say with it.
Yeah.
It's plenty to work off of.
He nods and he kind of rubs his eye.
Raises a brow. What?
Nothing.
Very well, I will not press the issue. He kind of leans back. Another question for you.
Ask away.
Now, does Hana know any of Finn's backstory? Has he ever heard anything of it? No,
I mean,
about any or.
The last RP he opened up a little bit.
I can't remember how much he opened up though.
If I remember correctly, he opened up about how his childhood wasn't the greatest.
Right.
And
Okay.
that he also apparently taught most of what he knows by him to himself.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Got it. He says, "You with the fascination and with Terra and Terran lineage, how do you feel about everything you've learned this last month?"
I mean, I knew it was bad to begin with, but I didn't know how deep it went.
Yes, unfortunately, the reality is unsavory.
I mean, war is bad on all sides, I guess.
Yes, it is. It is a horrible thing. But I was curious if it affected you more than others due to your interest.
I mean, I guess so. Knowing that it's quite possible that my family line could have been, a part of something really, really horrible. Yeah, it kind of messes me a little bit.
You feel responsible for the actions of those before you in your family line.
Guess a little bit. Not a lot, because I know it's dumb to think like that, but still gets under my skin.
I see. I'm pleased you are aware that you are not responsible for whatever your, and he does air quotes, kin prior did. Figured it was worth touching base about.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
He leans back from where he was kind of sitting comfortably against the wall. No, I can't remember. I don't think the planet was announced by this point where they were going. Right?
I don't know. That's a question for Chance, I think.
Yes, it was because
It
your
was?
glorious captain told you right before y'all, left the system. Well, a day before y'all left the system.
Oh, right. Okay. Then, he says, kind of leaning against the wall, and his eyes kind of just lazily shut. I am very appreciative that the captain chose somewhere quiet.
I am too. Some people aren't, though.
Well, they wanted a pleasure world. He
Yeah.
shakes his head. I find nothing of the sort there. The name to me is ironic.
No, it's too crowded for me anyway. Usually stay on ship.
Agreed.
But it's gonna be nice to go into the beach, you know?
Fan of water, are you?
I used to. I haven't really gone out all that much, but I think it's, I should this time.
Yes. Perhaps it would be a good thing to revisit. I think I've done a proper swim myself in a very long time. You know how it is. Usually when we land, I keep myself on the ship.
I mean, I'm right there with you most of the time, so
Mm-hmm.
can't really blame me on that.
Just don't like the crowds.
Too noisy. Too cluttered.
God's in agreement. Wonder which part will park by. Said there were a couple small communities. I imagine we'll probably be stationed near one.
Yeah, probably. So, um, damn, I lost my train of thought.
Was it in relation to the planets?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
The water? The beach?
I mean, it's something to do with the beach, I think.
Okay.
Uh,
Sand. High tide. Utilization of nearby objects to make a castle, as I've been informed one does.
Have you never made a sandcastle?
No.
Okay, we're making a sandcastle when we land.
We're making a sandcastle.
We're making a sandcastle.
Very well. We can attempt a sandcastle. Sand's a very fickle medium. I don't know why you'd want to create anything out of it.
I mean, gotta add the proper moisture. Not too much, not too little. And it sticks together pretty.
Huh. What are we going to make if this is something you are so adamant about?
I don't know.
I feel like we should have something in mind.
Go with the flow.
He's sitting here just like,
And Finn's just kind of smiling. He knows what he's doing.
Thought you were supposed to be the organized one here. You struck me as the type that had this sort of thing planned ahead of time.
I mean, keep my stuff organized. I mean, I always have a plan.
You're right, I shouldn't have assumed so much.
I don't know if I should be offended or not.
Probably. It was a jab, after all.
Mm.
But in good faith for the most part, I will clarify.
I mean,
looks at you, like, just straight in the face, just like, yep.
I got nothing. I guess you win on that one. I can't clap back.
What, not capable of finding an insult?
I mean, I could if I tried, but I don't really see the point.
It's to establish yourself. Makes it so you're not a door to be easily passed through.
Well, that's the thing. If I don't let your insult hurt me, or, affect me, am I really a door
Yes.
to pass? No. That's not how that works.
That is exactly how it works.
No, it's not.
I believe it is.
But, okay. So, if I don't let it bother me, I'm still a door to...
You've still taken it on the chin.
With my chin up. I'm not gonna, It doesn't... Okay. We both see differently on this.
No, continue. I'm amused.
I mean... If you don't... Okay. See it in the context. If you don't let a bully bother you, is it... eventually they'll stop, right? That's like the normal context, yes?
Depends on the individual.
That does depend on the individual, but normally it does tend to work. Because... So, if I, being defiant and not letting it get to me, and giving someone what they want, therefore, I am not being stepped over.
He thinks about this. That's very dependent on the context.
In this context, it is true.
Maybe.
Maybe. What do you mean, maybe?
I still have successfully had my jab and nothing has came of it. Perhaps you took it and you weren't terribly hurt by it, but it wasn't my intention to hurt you.
I mean, fair. But yeah, most of the time, jabs, if you don't let it... I just don't have a jab back, okay? Damn.
He tips his head back and just laughs. And we come down to the center of this.
Ugh.
You put up a strong case for yourself. Very good gerrymander, that.
Yeah, I guess.
You've been doing better recently. Speaking up for yourself. Speaking in general.
I mean, I realized that after talking with Lauren about it, actually, that I shouldn't hold myself down for past action.
He pauses. Is that why you're quiet?
In a way, yeah.
Huh. I wouldn't have pegged you as someone who carried guilt.
I mean, it worked, didn't it? Quiet then.
Purses his lips, then, after some thought, nods. I suppose it did. You flew quite effectively under the radar. Is it intrusive if I ask what happened?
He kind of pauses. Let me roll something. How do I roll fudge dice?
It's so if you go to the little like 20-sided thing, at the bottom where it has all your dice, at the bottom there's fudge, and you just click 4.
Okay, cool. Pause.
Oh, it just gave you 1 fudge die.
Oh wait, 4. My bad.
Negative. Unless you want to
Negative.
use the fudge die from above, in which you would have gotten knocked off the last one, and it would have been slightly positive.
Yeah, I'll just do it again because I fucked up. So let's one more try.
Ooh,
Really negative.
very negative.
A little. Let's just say I wasn't the best person.
Really?
Yeah.
Selfish habits in your youth?
Sorry, what?
Selfish habits in your youth, he asks.
I guess you could say that.
This brings me to form a hypothesis. A theory, I suppose.
Oh, I know what you're...
Well, I'm no therapist, and emotions, frankly, make me...
Yes, we established this in the beginning of part of this conversation.
Right, and in many conversations prior. It's just basic knowledge. But... is that why you run into everything at first? Compensation, perhaps? You'd mentioned before you just wanted to help when you did that, and it just makes me curious.
I never really thought of it like that. I guess subconsciously could be.
That'll be something to talk to Joy about once he's hooked up. He reaches over and grabs some chew from a nearby table. You're planning on utilizing him, correct? I'd advise you do.
I mean, it'd be stupid not to.
He nods in agreement. It would be. But if you are carrying baggage, as most of the people on board are...
I mean, everyone has baggage.
Well, yes, but only a certain selection of individuals have enough baggage to drive them onto a scavenging ship in the middle of nowhere.
He kind of opens his mouth to retort, but then he stops. It's like, fair point. Yeah, I guess talking to Nurse Joy.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I just Yeah, Nurse Joy. It would be a good idea.
He nods. I plan on speaking to him as well.
Probably could be 10 times better than speaking to Minerva. That's for sure.
You've spoken to Minerva?
I told you
Yes,
about
you
it.
did. You did. You mentioned it now that I think about it. Sorry, it just takes me by surprise every time. What a terrible idea.
I mean, I just wanted to learn more, I guess.
Information is insidious, Fynn. I will say that repeatedly. I advise you don't pursue it when you don't need to.
That's the thing. It's kind of hard not to.
I mean, certain things are hard not to, perhaps. You learn by diffusion every day. But not literally, that's a metaphor. But things that could get you into trouble. Such as everything we've learned recently. Which is associated with a ship that's off limits in an area that's off limits next to AI that are illegal. Well, unless you have the better. But I've given you this lecture before.
Yeah, you have, but I also have a counterpoint a little bit. It might be a little stupid counterpoint, but still.
You can try.
So you say looking for information is dangerous, yes?
Depending on the information, yes.
Okay. So, in the pursuit of knowledge, right? Way, way, way old Terrans, right? Or, exploring a new world in general. Say you find a fruit. Old Terran, like a fruit. But you don't know if it's edible. The only way to find out is to eat it.
Then you're left with the question of, am I going to die from this or not?
Correct. But if it is edible, it is very plentiful around the area, and it would benefit you to know this knowledge.
And if it's not, you either get extremely ill or, worst case scenario, you die.
But say this knowledge will help everyone else that is in the vicinity.
I understand what you're saying. The knowledge learned will benefit the others come after you. And had you spoken to me when I was younger, I would agree with you wholeheartedly. But that's a naive thought. Because somewhere along the line, there's destined to be someone who learns this and finds a way to put a twist on it. Say that they know this fruit, this food, isn't poisonous, but they know that the one next to it is. What's to stop them from putting the two too close together? What's to stop them from mixing them without others noticing? Had they never known, they wouldn't have done it. They wouldn't have used it. And more importantly, say that happens. Whose fault is it? Person who did it, without doubt, but is it also the fault of he who reported this finding in the first place?
I don't think so. In my own personal opinion.
I would be in agreement with you on that. But because you think that doesn't mean others won't. You're getting my point here.
I guess, but information is dangerous. I know that, but not having information is also dangerous.
Yes. Obliviousness kills. But it is a kind and benign world while it is there.
I mean, I think I'd rather know what was going to kill me rather than living in ignorance.
Then that is your choice. But know that it can end you somewhere unsavory if you're not careful.
Of course.
But of course, we're all going to keep our lips shut tight about everything we've learned here, I'm sure.
Definitely. It'd probably cause a a mass panic to know that there's a lancer out there walking around.
Yes. Kinda makes a face at that. Yes, I think it would. He kind of scoots forward on his bed. Well, perhaps you want to play it by ear what will be created in the sand, but I will take time to think on that for the time being, though. He lifts a hollow pad next to him and kind of gives it a little wave. I have some reading to do.
I guess I'll get out of your hair.
I appreciate your visit. Any questions, concerns, anything like that before I interrupted you? Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Continue.
Well, you were about to tell me you appreciate something about me. I'd like to hear it.
No. Continue. Continue.
Rolls his eyes very obviously. It's just going to say question, comments, concerns.
Nothing I've already said already.
Very well. Challenge you next time to have a counter to me. If I'm ribbing you, say something in return. I'd love to hear what you come up with.
The thing is, I'm not really good with things on the spot.
And yet you want to make something on the spot with no previous planning. Very
I mean, I meant with words. With words.
It's too late. You didn't clarify, and I... Dr. Hanneman Moore 1, Flynn 0.
Fynn will stand up, and he will take the chair and put it back where it was. I enjoy these talks.
He nods. They are entertaining. Thank you again for checking on me. Please do not feel the need to have concern. I will manage myself as much as possible.
I'll try not to.
He nods. You have enough to worry about as is, I'm sure.
Fynn just kind of shrugs. Just If you need anyone to talk to, you know where to go.
Yes. I happen to share a workspace with them.
Fynn will smile and nod, and he will. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go to the workshop because I can't sleep.
Have fun. Get at least 4 hours, or you know the good doctor will be up your throat.
What she doesn't know won't kill her.
He's like just slowly turning to like be resting, laying down on his bed. What she doesn't know.
Anyway, he will then start walking out.
As he leaves, Hana will end up messaging ratting on Fynn.
No! You! No! How dare you? Finn's gonna rat on you next time, I swear.
You don't know who told her.
There's only one person. Who knows right now?
What if it's coincidence when she just happened to pass by?
Doubtful.
Do you have definitive proof? Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and end recording here. Good RP. Shakes your hand.